Welcome back to the Dynamic Duo podcast. Happy to have you. I'm Connor.
And I'm Jasmine.
And it has been a light week for the first time since we've started this podcast.
For real. Like, it's been movie after movie or like Comic-Con, and I already lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it has been a light week. There's nothing really grabbing our attention besides just, kind of reminiscing and how crazy it's been these past couple weeks. And next week, it's going to be crazy again with D23. But I feel like we're kind of just soaking in all the good stuff that has happened, especially with Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's been awesome seeing the success of the movie and then just seeing everybody share their love of Spidey. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah.
And also just reliving everyone's fandom of Spidey throughout the years has been really cool to see all those clips.
It is great. Like, I feel like every day I'm seeing one of my friends is like rewatching all of the Spider-Man movies or, just picking up a new comic book, which is great. Like, I started reading Brand New Day again from the beginning. And I mean, it is just so nice to have this love of Spider-Man. And I feel like it's never going to go away. Like, that's just the power of him.
I think that's the thing that we've learned, if anything, from this movie is that Spider-Man's here to stay, never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But we might be getting another Spider-Man.
I know. This is crazy because Tom Holland hinted that he knows when Miles Morales is coming to the MCU.
That's crazy to me.
I find it weird. Like, I don't know if he's being cheeky and just trying to put it out there so the studios have to do it, or if he actually knows.
I think he wants it.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a combination of that. I mean, because he's also talked about his desire to want to be a mentor figure.
Right.
And like mentor Miles Morales. So like I can see that happening in the future. But I don't know. Like if we were to say there's 2 more movies, I don't know if we're going to get Miles right away.
I can't really see that happening, and it does kind of suck because with Secret Wars right around the corner, Miles plays such a fundamental and fun part in that story. So it would be the perfect time for Miles to show up, but I feel like with Brand New Day, it's still showing that Peter has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And, there's still a lot of life for him to play Spider-Man, so it just wouldn't. Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying they would want him, like you just said, to be a mentor to Miles, and this Peter Parker Spider-Man, I feel like couldn't really be a mentor at this time.
Yeah. I think this is the first time in a while where I don't know where they're going to go with the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Just because like there's so many like open-ended things that are out there in the Spider-Man corner of the universe, like the symbiote.
Yeah.
And if you were to bring Miles Morales at the same time as a symbiote, then you're kind of stepping on like Spider-Man 2. And I don't want to necessarily see that on screen again.
True.
And then if that's not the case, then like what are they going to do? How are they going to, I guess, bring him in and tie him in? Right. I don't know. There's a lot of open-ended like potential in the series, but we'll see.
It really just makes me wonder because I know Tom has been so fundamental in the Sony and Disney relationship for keeping Spider-Man in the MCU and stuff. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me if Tom is like the only one really advocating for it. But I also feel like Sony has confirmed a couple times that we're never going to see Miles in live action until the Spider-Verse trilogy is done. So that kind of just needs to wrap up and we need to like move it along.
And that's what, 2028?
Hopefully. Yeah. I don't think they've really confirmed I think they've said 2028, but I mean,
so too.
3 years ago they said like 2024 or something like that. So
truly,
we need that movie bad. But yeah, like there's just been so much going on with Spider-Man. I've been loving all of the discourse going on online. I've also been hating some of it. People have been kind of like shipping Jean and Spider-Man together. And I really don't like that idea. I think that's kind of gross, especially with, I think she's supposed to be like a lot younger than he is in this movie.
It seems like, I don't know how much of an age gap there is between the actors, but like, does seem like she's supposed to be a lot younger than Spidey in this series. Yeah,
and I felt, if anything, like he played a very camp counselor-y mentor role to her towards the end of this movie, So the fact that people are kind of shipping them together, they need to just knock it off. Like that is disgusting.
Well, the other thing too is like, if Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman are like Marvel's first family, like the couple, like Jean and Cyclops are the other one for the X-Men side of the universe. Like they are always together. They're married in the comics. Like,
exactly.
They're pretty much, you can't have one without the other. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But
yeah, I wanted to hop back because, there have been a lot of discussions and a lot of theories online. And one of them I think has some pretty good weight to it where it's did Jean Grey like restore people's memories
Yeah.
about Spider-Man like after she took them over, I think is the full theory. I'm not really sure if it's either when she takes them over or just by the end of the movie, but it does fall in line with the Hulk giving Peter that look,
Yeah.
where it seems like he kind of remembered. And then all of the stuff with Mary Jane at
Yeah.
the end of the movie, like her crying, her drawing the Civil War suit, and then her holding the broken necklace and like kind of smiling. It's like, did Jean restore her memories, or are they just slowly coming back because of Jean? Or do you like, I don't really know what else could be the case.
Yeah, I think I've seen this theory a lot too, and a lot of the times, like I can understand the Mary Jane and like the Ned and the Hulk part of it, but there's no way that anybody else, like the whole population in New York knows who Peter Parker is now.
Right. I guess it does get tricky just because the whole world would know that
Yeah,
Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So if she goes into anyone's mind, they would know.
right. And it also would be weird if they just undid the thing that happened in the last movie
Right.
like that and never addressed it.
Right.
Or made it clear. And so I don't know, because I do think that the crying that MJ does when she's frozen,
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that she's the only one who does that
Mm-hmm.
is significant. And I don't know if that was just like a moment for Zendaya to like really like shine
Yeah.
or if it was something else, but I don't know, because I still think that there is something that she knows that
Mm-hmm.
isn't, that she's not telling us. Um
It could be.
and
It could
it could be
be.
a small sliver. It could be like, "Oh, I'm starting to remember," kind of how, like, people are thinking that Ned is
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but because yeah, that last scene where she's holding the flower, like, she's clearly thinking about something
Right.
in relation to that.
I mean, with the smile and everything, it's like you couldn't be any more like on the nose with it. But
Right.
it's like I like this Jean Grey theory. I just feel like it's not as strong as people online are giving it. Like
Same.
I think there's still pretty easy ways to poke holes in it.
For sure.
But I do think that's kind of a nice redemption moment for Jean, I wouldn't be too mad if that's the case. I just feel like they're going to keep the memory situation a Spider-Man story,
Yeah, like, if they wanted to, like, they could have easily erased it or undone it
Right.
with Jean Grey's
And
powers.
I can't imagine like MJ showing up to Spider-Man in the
Yeah.
next movie being like, "No, Jean like fixed me." And
Yeah,
it's
we're
like,
not gonna get
yeah,
that.
I just don't see that happening at all. I could way more easily see Sacha Baron Cohen showing up as Mephisto
Mephisto?
and like giving her memories
Ooh,
back
I
or
like
something.
that.
Like that's way more plausible in my mind. But speaking of like, it's like that was a very good theory that I liked out of all of the things people were talking about because a lot of the conversations are absolutely dog shit online.
Tell me more.
Yeah, because one of them that I'm seeing is I saw so many people actually walking out of this movie questioning how Jean Grey knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker. And
Did
it's
they
like,
not watch the movie?
that's what I'm saying. Like, it is the most obvious thing in the world. When I went back to watch it for a second time, I was specifically trying to look at like where the confusion could be coming from.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, if you watch the intro, the first line of the letter is "My name is Peter
Yes.
Parker," and then she picks up the goddamn coffee cup and reads the letter. Like, I don't know how you people don't get this.
I mean, maybe because like I think the thing is like there is like a like, oh, there's no way that she could have read his mind because of spider sense, and spider sense is like, or he's like,
Right, right,
sure,
right,
like,
right,
and I
right, right,
get
right, right,
that,
right.
but it's like almost like a sleight of hand magic trick where it's like you're looking over here, but realistically, like this is how she finds out
Right.
and like plays with him.
Yeah.
But like she even tells him straight up, like, oh, like she's talking to him when that scene is happening.
Like she hands him back the note.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
like I just don't fucking get it. They talk so many times about the note. You guys have to be just playing ignorant. I don't get how you couldn't figure that out.
media literacy is a real problem.
Yeah,
in
it
this
really
country.
is. And I feel bad for y'all. Now we had said something I think last week when we were talking about the movie where we gave it praise where we said the trailer didn't spoil a lot,
Sure.
and I think that still stands strong.
Same.
Like 20 minutes in, I remember turning to my wife saying, "That's the whole trailer. Like these are all the shots." But after rewatching the trailer, reading the comments from that video, the trailer kind of does spoil a lot. And it's a very interesting thing where a lot of the shots are from the beginning, but I think it's because there's so many different fight sequences
Yeah.
used in the trailer. Like, that's how you can start piecing the movie together when you're watching it for the first time.
Here's my thing. I think people are forgetting what a spoiler is. Like, a
Yeah.
spoiler is the result of something that is like, so like it would be one thing if we saw the Hulk Punisher Spider-Man fight and we saw who won the fight.
Right.
Like, that's a spoiler.
Right.
But knowing that they're gonna fight, like, if you're worried about getting spoiled that like the Hulk and Spider-Man were gonna fight in this movie,
Yeah.
then like I don't think you've been paying attention. Like, that was gonna happen whether or not they showed it in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that can be considered a spoiler.
Right. I was kind of thinking like it's more that or it's less that the studio is showing too much, and
Yeah.
it might just be more that a lot of the audience is smarter than they give themselves
agree.
credit for, where
Yeah.
it's like you guys are the ones that are able to take the smallest bits from the trailer and wait for it and keep it in your mind and then identify it in the
Sure.
movie, and yes, I think trailers could be smarter. Like, I think of Infinity War and stuff like that had fake shots and like really didn't show a whole lot from the whole movie. But it's also like Brand New Day pretty much did the same thing besides the action sequences. I
Yeah.
think maybe they showed a little too much of the action sequences, but
I also think it's like you can't have it both ways. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't, or if you do have an Infinity War situation where you're kind of changing things and making it look different than what it actually comes out to be, then you're complaining about whether or not like they manipulated and like changed what you thought was going to happen in this movie. And it's
Yeah.
like you can't have both. It's one or the other. And it's like
yeah.
I'd rather see that they have the thing that I want to go see, like a fight sequence or like a certain character, than not know about it ahead of time. Like, I think the only way or the only place where that didn't work for me was the Red Hulk in Brand New Day or Brand New World. No,
Brave New World.
Brave New World.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's the only place where I'm like, okay, that was a pretty big reveal they could have held off on, only because it was like the climax of the movie.
It was, I'm gonna be real, it's the same thing with Brand New Day though. Like, the Hulk is only in one sequence. Like, they did such a good job of not showing him in the first trailer,
Yeah.
like just hinting, and then they made him such a focal point in the second trailer and from then on. And it's like, it's great to see, and it definitely added hype to the sales and like leading into the movie. And I don't think it really ruined the fight sequence in any form.
I don't think it ruined the movie.
No, of course not. But it's also like, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, no, that reveal could have been even crazier if I had never watched a trailer or they never put it in the trailer.
Yeah, but like you were saying too, is like, there's a certain audience that is going to go see these movies no matter what the trailer looks like.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they need to get the other people who aren't necessarily
exactly
like are like diehards like us.
Yeah.
Like the casual fan who's like, oh, cool, a Spider-Man movie, that's great. But if they know that the Hulk is going to be in the movie and they see what version of the Hulk is going to be in that movie, they're more likely now to go see it.
Right, because whether we like it or not as superhero fans, a lot of the more casual general audience is going to be asking, why do I need to see Tom Holland Spider-Man for the 9th time?
Yeah.
And it's, it's stuff like the Hulk and the Punisher that is going to win the general audience over, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And for better or worse, I just, I don't know. The trailers are an interesting thing. I almost feel like, as more diehard fans, it's like, you really just shouldn't watch trailers at this point.
I also think that we're like just getting inundated with them now, like more than we did like even just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But
They're
it's
an art
different.
form. They truly have become an art form. But there was, well, I saw you were the one that kind of led me to the direction of this next list. Do you want to talk about the concept art?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw you had liked it on Instagram, and that's how it popped up on mine.
Okay.
There was a concept artist for Sony that released new photos of like a canceled Sinister Six movie.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and it showed Spider-Man basically like falling from space onto a random island with like a volcano and stuff. And this falls in line with another photo that was released for this canceled movie where it looked like Tom Holland's Spider-Man versus Ezekiel falling over New York. And it honestly looks hype. And it kind of has me wondering, like, what were they writing in that room?
I don't know. I think the Sinister Six one was interesting because like it took a couple different ideas and just kind of jumbled them up. And like that to me was interesting. It's like, what happens if you have a Spider-Man that's not in New York City, but in just like a random tropical island
Yeah.
with the villains. I don't know if that would have taken over No Way Home
Yeah.
or if this was a different movie. But the Ezekiel thing makes me think that they were originally looking at that for Brand New Day because that's where he plays a big role in the comics.
Yeah. I was really wondering if this was gonna be like their big multiversal movie,
Mhm.
like where it's hopping. Like I almost pictured it like hopping, like how they
Oh.
were doing it in Doctor Strange
Yeah,
Multiverse
yeah,
of
yeah.
Madness. Like they're falling from New York, then he's falling into this volcano
Yeah.
and all these
Could've.
shots. But when it's posed as like they were stuck on an island, it really makes me think of the ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man run where they're like underground in Mole Man's lair with Craven, like just hiding. And I think that honestly could have been pretty cool. And I think that would have been a nice, clean way to wrap up like the Sony verse
Yeah.
villains movies. But thank God that didn't happen,
Could you
at the same
imagine?
time.
We would have had Fortnite the movie with all the Spider-Man skins.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you look at the concept art for those movies or for like the Sinister Six, and it just looked so bad. Like, I know
Yeah.
TASM has fans, and I'm sorry, I'm not one of them. And like, the suits just look such bullshit.
Look, you're gonna offend all three of them,
No, no,
with
no,
that
no, no, no,
comment.
no, no. There are diehards out there. I was talking to someone the other day just about the things I don't like about the TASM movies,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the things that I was saying, he was like, "That's why the general audience loves those movies." And I was just like, "No, no." So I'm gonna hold on to that criticism for us to talk about later
Okay.
because I know people are gonna hate us for that, but you know, I think we've honestly talked enough about Spider-Man. Like we spent all last episode talking about him. We talked about him today. There has been some other stuff going on. Like we got to jump back to the God of War situation
Yeah, yeah.
because there are two very interesting things that happened. One, Ryan posted a photo of himself yesterday of behind the scenes. It was just a mirror photo of him as Kratos.
Mhm.
And it was so much better than the first look that we got. It actually kind of feels like, like Thanos, like perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
first look at
It was
him as
rough.
Kratos was so bad,
Yeah.
but this mirror selfie looks so good.
Yeah.
It really had me rethinking, like, okay, I completely understand why they picked Ryan at first because he really does look like Kratos.
Mhm.
And it still is blowing my mind that the studio just decided to drop him.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, there's a lot of things that could have obviously come into play here, but I do think that part of it was, like, the backlash that they got.
Yeah, but it's like the backlash is kind of all their fault, especially after seeing this mirror selfie where it's like, in the first look, it looked like he was wearing a bald cap. He
Yeah.
looked a little chubby, and it just looked like this terrible white makeup. Like this mirror selfie, he is jacked, and the makeup looks so much better. And he actually looks bald. Like it
Mhm.
looks like he actually
Like,
shaved
shaved his
his head
head.
for this, which is so crazy. And they just announced that they're going to recast Atreus with season 2 because they're going to do a time skip.
Okay.
So it just begs the question even more why they couldn't wait for him. Like
Yeah.
it just really doesn't make sense to me.
Do you think they're gonna get, like, a buzzier name maybe?
Well, that is very interesting because it's now being reported that Dave Batista is
Oh,
like in talks to be Kratos. And
I could see that.
I feel like that's just kind of jumping from one stone to the next. It's like you're kind of repeating the same thing. Like this isn't the name that people were considering, like
Yeah.
that the fans want. The fans want like a tall, jacked
I was gonna
bodybuilder.
say, isn't,
Like
like, Dave, like, Bautista, like, pretty short
he
relatively?
yeah, I don't know. I think he could do as good of a job as Ryan could have done.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of the same criticism as before, where it's like it's just not really the right body type. And I still think the actor who plays him in the God of War games is the best choice, Christopher Judge. Like, I
Mhm.
think he is such a great Kratos. It's a shame that he can't do it in live action.
Why can't he?
I don't know. I feel like he probably wants to as well, but I
Yeah.
think he wants to keep his job, so he hasn't said anything online. But it's just like Dave Batista feels like another like just Hollywood grab, and it's
Yeah.
like I
He's
feel
got
like
the
you're not really thinking about it. And I'm surprised Dave would want to do it. I feel like one of the reasons why he kind of stepped back from Marvel is because of all the makeup and stuff like that. Like besides the James Gunn situation, but
Yeah,
like God of War is gonna require like the same amount of work and
but
makeup and all that
money,
stuff. Money, yeah,
money
that
talks.
that is true. That is true. Do you like Dave Bautista as Kratos?
I don't know. Like I think it works. I think I'm thinking about like how he looks,
Yeah,
and I'm like I do want someone taller. I want someone who's got that like towering,
yeah.
uh, like almost like scariness and intimidation to him.
Hmm.
And I don't think he quite has. I mean, he is like a pretty big dude
Yeah,
already.
definitely.
But I do want someone taller, and I don't know. We'll see.
He's in the same category as Ryan, where they're both very good actors at saying less and
Hmm.
like portraying more,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
is a big Kratos trait. Is like
Like the stoicism.
yeah, and he doesn't really say a lot. It's very quick responses and stuff like that, and he portrays a lot in those quick responses, like just his like boy,
Yeah, yeah,
like you
yeah,
can get so much emotion and anger and frustration and stuff just from that one word. And I do think Dave can play him,
yeah.
and I think Ryan could have done it too, but I don't know. I don't know. It still doesn't sit right in my head when I picture it. Like maybe it's because Dave is too well known.
I think it is part of that. And I think because he's so tied to like a role like Drax,
Right.
it's kind of hard to unsee that.
Like, is he just gonna look like an old Drax?
Yeah, that's kind of like my fear is like
Yeah.
thinking about it and thinking about the makeup and the design. They're pretty similar. Like obviously they're different like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but I mean
characters, but
scars and
yeah,
designs, they're dripped out in one color and stuff like that. They're both shirtless and bald.
yeah,
It's interesting. Like I think I have faith in Dave because he's a great actor, and but again, it's like I really do just kind of picture Drax.
yeah. It's gonna be hard to like shake that because I don't think he's really done any other role that's kind of defined him
No, not
like
really.
Drax has.
Yeah, and a lot of the roles he's done since Drax are kind of like one-off characters where he's
Right,
kind of just playing a version of himself.
right.
Um, but I do think that's interesting. I feel like it's not surprising after you hear it. It's like, of course, like yeah, the studio's gonna go for Dave. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
who else would really be
big
on their
name.
short list? Yeah. Um, but I just thought that was crazy. I still can't really believe that Ryan Hurst is just out, especially after seeing that selfie. It's a real bummer. Um, and another thing that was a real bummer was Ian McGregor just did an interview talking about how excited he is for Ahsoka season 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that got me really excited, but I saw so many responses being like Star Wars is so reliant on Clone Wars, and it like the only thing that really sells well and sticks with Star Wars anymore is Clone Wars.
Yeah,
And I feel like if you're looking at The Mandalorian and stuff, yes, you can
sure.
kind of come across that way. But then I think of Andor, and I'm like, Andor is so goddamn peak, and
Yeah.
it's just such a shining light in what has been Star Wars recently that I disagree completely. Like, I know they're always probably going to revert back to or fall back on Clone Wars, like when times are tough. Like, we can always bank a Clone Wars thing to kind of get the fans going again. But
Mhm.
I think there is so much hope for Star Wars in the future after this that I think they're going to slowly step away from Clone Wars, like
Yeah.
as time goes on.
But I also think that, like, that's not a bad thing. Like, to say that a lot of things are getting pulled out of Clone Wars is, like it's the longest running, like, property in Star Wars for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So many people, like, grew up with it. It has its own dedicated fan base, like, even just outside of the movies,
yeah.
and it, like, introduced the most characters, introduced the most, like, different planets, and, like,
Yes,
we got to see all different corners of the galaxy in this series, and, like, it kinda seems like, yeah, of course they're gonna pull stuff from that because they can extrapolate, and they already know what works.
it makes sense. I think it 100% makes sense, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to overstay your
For sure.
welcome. It's the same situation that The Mandalorian is kind of going through right now, where it's like they had 2 seasons of greatness. They
Yeah.
slipped a little with Boba Fett. Season 3, the fans didn't really enjoy, and
Right.
then they waited a couple years and
For
then
the
put out
movie.
this movie, and it's like fans are now kind of turning on The Mandalorian. It's like, okay, I think this story is done, or it's like it's just time to move on.
Mhm.
And I think it's getting close to that way with Clone Wars, and I think they can keep using Clone Wars for as long as they also prioritize projects like Andor.
I agree. Like, I think
And
they need to constantly be, like, injecting new material into the universe.
yes.
Otherwise, yeah, it's gonna get stale.
Yeah, because if you are only relying on Clone Wars, like right now, I mean, the only thing that's on the horizon is Ahsoka season 2, and then everything else is just in production. Like
Yeah.
even the Sean Levy Starfighter
Starfighter?
movie is like we don't know where they're at with that right now, and there's no confirmed release date or anything. The only thing we know is that Ahsoka is dropping next year, and that is going to be a Clone Wars heavy show. Like there is going to be a
Yeah.
lot of flashbacks to specifically Obi-Wan and Anakin, and I am so nervous for Twitter that day.
I'm not. I think it'll be fine. I hope it'll be fine.
I don't know. Star Wars scares me because I love that era. I love Clone Wars, and I
Same.
love like Clone Wars was one of my favorite shows growing up, and like every time it returned, whether through Netflix or Disney or whatever, like it always got me hyped, and I was so thankful for it. Um, But seeing this discourse these past couple of days, just around Ian McGregor's interview,
Yeah.
saying like he's excited to put on the Clone Wars like armor and
Sure.
stuff, like people are calling it like Clone Wars slop and all this shit, and it's just like, dude,
Listen,
we need to chill.
like 12-year-old me who was watching Clone Wars on TV would be ecstatic if she knew that like we were going to get live action Clone Wars. Like that's what we're
Yes.
getting. And like sure, like
Live action Clone Wars Anakin is what started my online career. Like
yeah.
I jumped out of bed that night and made a video talking about it, and that was the first video that ever did well for me. So it's like I'll take Clone Wars, content till I die.
Yeah.
I like seeing Clone Wars Anakin change something in me. I loved that, and I'm very excited to see Clone Wars Obi-Wan too. And you're not gonna ruin this for me. You're not.
Like let me have this.
Yeah, like seriously. Can't we just be happy that like Obi-Wan Kenobi still wants to show up in
That's
the Star
my
Wars
thing is like
project?
we didn't have Hayden for like so long and he just was
Yeah.
so out of it that I'm like, no, if they want to keep coming back, like please let them come back.
Like, okay, look, the Obi-Wan show was a little rough. Like
Sure.
the Hayden CGI de-aging stuff was a little rough in Obi-Wan, but they nailed it in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Or Ahsoka. Like he looked so good in
Yeah.
every flashback in the Ahsoka stuff. And him holding the red lightsaber,
So
like
good.
it was just so perfect. Again, you're just not gonna ruin this for us.
No, not at all. And it's also like, I don't know, like when you look at the original trilogy and you see like they never got to bring those actors back and like really like expand that world with them.
Mhm.
Like for kids like that grew up with the prequel trilogy like us, like seeing our cast, like our
Yes.
core 3 come back. I mean, obviously we haven't gotten one of them, but getting Ewan and Hayden to come back is incredible and like seeing them grow into these characters or like age.
Do you think they could get Natalie?
I don't know. I mean, they got her for Thor, which was
I feel
surprising.
like I remember hearing rumors last year that Natalie was like going on set and stuff.
I love Padme, so if she returns, I will be ecstatic, but like
That would actually be
don't get my
insane.
hopes up.
Like, especially if they could just like kind of reenact the more Clone Wars dynamic of the three of them. Like, she was, oh my God, the three of them were so great, especially towards the tail end of Clone Wars.
Give it to me. I need it.
It makes me so excited. It makes me so excited. And again, I'm gonna say it for a third time. You're not ruining this for me. God, there's been so many random things popping up this week. Like A24 just showed off a new movie with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
About Chris Hansen. What the fuck?
What are we doing here?
I did not see that coming, but it makes me feel so good because I was like deep in that community that followed Chris Hansen and all of his like controversies, like I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago on YouTube. Like he's not a great person.
What's his controversy? I don't think I know.
Well, I mean, this movie kind of hints at it, but I mean, he basically exploited all of these people and used it under the whatever justice, like he's saving people from these pedophiles.
Okay.
But it's like he's a very vain person who just cared about ratings and money, and he had no problem stepping on people and putting people in dangerous situations and lying to his community constantly. And He's just kind of a scumbag who
Would you say that he's a predator?
kind of, yeah. Yeah, like he's a video predator, he's a views predator. Like it was weird. Like he he had a lawsuit with Onision. I don't know if you remember that
No.
name, but he was another super big weirdo on YouTube. Like when we were growing up, he had a video called like "I'm a Banana" where he
Okay.
would like dance and
Yeah,
scream
yeah,
like
yeah.
"I'm a banana," and that got him like his first piece of fame. But he groomed a ton of people online, and he
Mm.
had like weird sex cults and stuff, and like he got canceled a bunch. And Chris Hansen got in it with him, but like the internet drama got so big and nasty that they both kind of ended up as villains and they sued each other. And Chris Hansen just went down this really dark rabbit hole. Like after NBC fired him, he tried to keep the show going on his own.
Is
And
that what he was doing on YouTube?
no, that was before YouTube. And then he came back to YouTube with like, I don't know. I feel like his EDP or something like that. There was a bunch of like, because YouTubers, especially 5, 6 years ago, love to point at people and be like, "You're a pedophile, like you're grooming your
Sure. Yeah.
community and stuff like that." So then Chris Hansen went like, "Ooh, I can get my hands on that," and it would be people I can't. I'm saying names, but like Nicholas Diorio and oh Tom Dark or something like that. Maybe that's not his name, but they were like working with Chris Hansen against Onision, and then like Chris Hansen did something to them, so then they started beefing with Chris Hansen, and all this drama came out with him, and it just got like so big and so dark
Yeah.
because like the actual victims just didn't matter
Right.
anymore. And I was very confused when they first announced this movie, and now seeing this trailer, it's like, oh yeah, they're going to nail that super vain, like egotistical side of Chris Hansen. And Chris Hansen is like a right wing grifter at this point now, so it's like fuck him. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hope
It is
Robert
fun.
Pattinson makes him look like an asshole.
Yeah, it is funny that they like essentially took that clip from The Odyssey where Robert Pattinson is saying beggars and then
Yeah.
just like stretched it out into this movie because it's the same energy.
It is like when he's like, "We're gonna be bigger than Lost."
Yeah, like he's
It's like, bro, you're talking about pedophiles. Like, what are you doing? Chris Hansen was insane, and it made for good TV. I'm not gonna deny it. Like,
But like, what are we doing? Like, what's the next one? Are we gonna do Cops the movie?
yeah, dude, I really wonder. Like, who knows how fucking corrupt that show was?
Truly.
That was probably insane.
Honestly, I'd probably watch it.
Yeah, probably,
I'd watch that movie.
Probably, it's probably
Throw Pattinson in that one too.
Yeah.
While we're at it.
But yeah, I think that movie looks great. I'm very excited for it. Like I said, I was a little nervous when they first announced it because who knows how the public really sees Chris Hansen. I think for a lot of people, this trailer might have been a shock to them, knowing that Chris Hansen was kind of a scumbag. But
I had no idea. I also just didn't really follow his career in any way.
But and that's what I'm saying. I think for a lot of people, you hear Chris Hansen, you're like, oh, the pedophile hunter? And it's like, no, the like borderline schizophrenic, insane dude.
Yikes.
It'll be great. Robert Pattinson is the actor for that role. I swear it's gonna be awesome. His voice, like that clip where he's like, "You know how this looks, right?" Like it's just too good.
Speaking of TV show drama, though, I saw that you posted a video.
Yeah.
And this is very much up my alley because I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah.
But Wizards of Waverly Place, the new reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what's been going on?
It's been very weird. So Wizards of Waverly Place was a show we all grew up and loved.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards Beyond Waverly Place is this new show that started, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, and it's essentially about Justin and his family. And I think Selena shows up every now and then, but she's not really a main character anymore. And none of the other cast, I think the mom shows up, but every now and then, but like none of the main cast is in this show. And people thought it was kind of weird. I think a lot of people would agree the kids on the show were good. They were funny. They were cute, but it was a weird way to do a sequel. And it just ended this past week. And it had a very weird ending where like Harper showed up. And
I remember when the show first launched, everybody was like, where's Harper? Like, wouldn't Harper be married to...
Well, yeah, it was very weird. Like Justin... And I'm going to say Justin made it because David Henry, I think that's his name. He is an executive producer on this show. Like apparently he had a ton of weight on this show, and we can get into that in a second. But Harper, the wife looks like Harper, like red hair and everything. And I think they make a couple jokes about it as well in this finale. But so the finale happened. Harper showed up. One of Alex's ex showed up, and it turns out I think it's all a dream. And then her actual husband shows up, and the show just ends. And that doesn't sound like a lot of drama. It
Right.
started immediately after it aired, where the creator of Wizards of Waverly Place, the original guy, he's tweeted, I have a simple solution on the canon problem with Beyond Wizards of Waverly Place. It was all Max's dream. Boom, over. And it's like, whoa, okay.
He just wants to forget about it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so clearly the original creator is not a fan of this reboot, but I feel like that's not necessarily uncommon. It's like the original show's his baby, but the property belongs to Disney. Disney's moving on, and he doesn't like it, so that's whatever. Everyone else came out of the woodworks. So then the actor,
other creators or actors?
The actors. Oh, all of the actors. So the guy that played the dad, he tweeted being like, shame it's over, something like shame it's over, but without the original cast, it would never be as good, or something like that. I think that was a little more rude. I can pull up his actual quote because this whole controversy just gets worse and worse because literally everyone commented on it. So the dad had said, 2 seconds. I'm sorry, I was saving all these tweets for it. Oh man. I can't find the dad's quote. So yeah, the dad basically just left one comment saying something like that. Here it is. Nope. Here it is. The dad had said, it would not be over if the OG Wizards were really there, missed opportunity, which is, again, he's just kind of speaking his piece about it. Yeah, he's definitely not a fan of it. This is where it starts getting a little more complicated because the actor who played Zeke responded, and
Selena Gomez is Alex's boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah. Some character.
The way that I was able to recall that was just pure childhood memory.
Now, he's allowed to say whatever he wants, and I'll read his quote in a second, and I think it's valid and everything, but I want you to keep in mind, since Wizards of Waverly Place, this man has gone into the porn industry.
Okay.
So, he was never getting asked back. Ever. But he said, it's just heartbreaking because there was so much potential for a Wizards reboot, and it turned into a failed David Henry show. People say I'm just bitter that I didn't get invited, but I'm actually just sad for the fans, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter what else he said. The thing that I thought was interesting was that he pinpointed David Henry. He didn't blame Disney. He didn't say, obviously it makes sense because I'm in the porn industry. I can't go on a Disney show. He specifically called out David. And he wasn't the only one because Jennifer Stone, who played Harper,
right,
she has been going on a tirade where one of the main things that she said is David Henry limited her to one episode of the series and wouldn't allow her to show up for anything else. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. And people are trying to fill in the gaps of why this is happening. And it really just seems like David Henry is just trying to make the show about himself. And I'm sure you're asking why. And there are all these interviews of him talking about how the show was originally pitched to him as the lead. He was going to be the lead character, and he was going to have a sister, brother, blah, blah, blah. And, he talks about how CBS was offering him all of this money to be a leading role on their shows, but Disney had him under contract. And then they changed the show to make Selena the main character, and he couldn't walk away.
Oh, this is the original Wizards.
Yeah.
Not
the the original Wizards. Okay. They pitched it to him as he would be the lead, and then they switched it and said Selena would be the lead, so he was going to walk away to go do a bigger show with more money or something like that. But they had him under contract, so he was forced to do this show. And it sounds like maybe he didn't like it, and he might be bitter that he missed his chance to be a lead figure in a role. And this is a lot of hearsay. This is a lot of picking up on old interviews and seeing things, reading into body language and stuff like that. But when you look at how he was the executive producer of this, and he probably did have a lot of control.
But Selena Gomez was too.
Yeah, that's true. They both were executive producers. And it's a very messy situation, and it's getting messier and messier because Jake T. Austin even like
I was
had a
gonna ask, like, where
response.
is he in all this?
It's so he first responded by saying like kind of like it's whatever,
Sure.
and then fans kept hounding him, and so he responded saying to all the Wizard fans, just wanted to say for the record how disappointed I am to not have been included in the spinoff. He was asked back in 2020 if he would be interested, and he said he was 100% in. Unfortunately, he never got a call back and nothing ever happened. And David Henry has posted DMs with fans asking, like, where was Jake T. Austin? Why
Yeah.
wasn't Max in the show? And he's pointing fingers at Jake T. Austin saying, we've asked him multiple times to show up
Yeah.
and he's never gotten back to us. And I think even Jake T. Austin made another response, kind of being like, I don't know where David Henry is saying this,
Yeah.
but I was informed by fans in my comments that Jake T. Austin has also had a pretty rough time since Wizards.
Oh, really?
So,
I mean, he hasn't really done much.
yeah, so I'm not sure how reliable his word is. So
Okay.
it's, again, it's all a lot of hearsay. It's all a lot of he said, she said.
Yeah.
But it is just very publicly messy. And
Yeah.
you don't see this a lot. And it seems like all of these actors are pretty much saying, like, I don't care about my relationship with Disney. I'm saying my piece.
Well, it's also just weird that, like, if you're gonna reboot a show and you only really bring back one character,
Yeah.
it does kind of look suspicious.
Of course.
Whether or not, like, you know, it could easily be like, oh, you know, we were talking, our people were talking, and they just couldn't land on a solution, and they both heard only one side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is suspicious that, like you said, like Selena, Harper were only in like one episode or two episodes here and there,
Yeah.
and it's like, if you're going to reboot the show and like you have a dedicated audience and fan base, like you're going to want to at least make sure that you hit those notes a few more times before you like absolutely can it.
And I saw some fans, you know, I want to be fair to the people that liked it. Like some fans are want to be clear that it's a spin-off, not a reboot.
Sure.
Like, you know, it's a continuation of a side character story. So it's like you don't have to expect to see all of the main cast or like the show continue about from Alex and Harper's point of view. Like that's not expected, but it is also like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like I think for a lot of people, Justin was probably their least favorite character. Like no offense to him.
I would probably put him at the bottom.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also kind of how the role was written. Like I think there are some heartwarming moments between him and Alex, but for the most part it's like he's the annoying older brother who's like a dork and stuff, so it's like it's very interesting to make him the center of
especially when, like, if I remember correctly, didn't like Max get all the powers at the end?
Yeah, I've tried not to think about that too much because I mean maybe someone else can fill us in the comments on how he gets
the Wizards of Waverly Place lore.
Yeah, but I just couldn't believe how messy it all got so quickly, and I feel like especially for a Disney project, like Disney is usually better at keeping a lid on these kind of things, but the PR, I feel like I've seen nothing about the actual finale and everything about
I didn't even know it was
the
ending.
actors' point of views on how much they hate David Henry for the finale.
Maybe they just tried to like sweep it under the rug and like not pay attention to it.
Yeah, and I want to say it one more time because it sucks that the kids are actually enjoyable in that show, and I feel like they didn't get a fair chance because
maybe they'll get a spin-off of a spin-off.
Yeah, but it's just a shame that all these adults can't keep it to themselves and have a little bit of grace and let these kids have their moment of the show ending.
I think that's probably what's going on here is a lot of people just holding on to the little bits of like relevancy that they still have and not wanting to let go.
Like I think what Zeke said maybe, or the actor for what Zeke says may be fair, but it's like, again, bro, you went into the porn industry. Like the fact that you're even trying to hint at sympathy for, oh, I'm not sad I wasn't invited. It's like you were never going to get invited. Rough. Like you went into the porn industry. But that, to each his own. I hope he makes his good money. I'm not hating on him for getting into the porn industry.
No, we're sex work positive here. Okay?
Yeah. Just don't try to guilt Disney fans into like, oh, David Henry's the reason I'm not on this reboot. It's
Look,
like, no.
If Bo DeMeo couldn't make it.
Right. You're definitely not getting that call back, bro. But yeah, and so in other news, something I'm really excited about is HBO has confirmed yet again, Warner Brothers has confirmed yet again, Aegon's Conquest is happening as a movie, and it'll be here as early as late 2028.
Yeah.
And I think that is just fucking fantastic. Ever
Listen.
since I've gotten into Game of Thrones, one of the first things you read about is Aegon's
I
Conquest.
need you to explain what it is, because like you're clearly the bigger like Game of Thrones fan between
Yeah.
the two of us, and I don't know what Aegon's Conquest is.
So I won't give you a whole history lesson, but Aegon's Conquest is essentially after the fall of Valyria, where that's where the Targaryens originally lived, on this island, and it's an event called the Doom,
Mhm.
and the island basically destroys itself. You're not too sure exactly what happens,
Mhm.
but it forces the Targaryens to kind of come over to Westeros. And at the
Okay.
time, Westeros was not a kingdom; it
Mhm.
was a country of.
Oh, so this is like even before House of the Dragon.
This is before everything.
Okay.
And well, not before everything. Sorry, Game of Thrones fans. Like, not the old men and stuff like that. But this is essentially where our story starts, like with humanity and stuff,
Got
because
it.
all of these kingdoms are separated. They all live in separate areas. They all just rule over each other. There's no centralized government or anything like that. And this man named Aegon and his two sister wives, oh man, I'm gonna butcher it. It's like Visenya and Rhaenys, I believe.
Okay.
They ride over to Westeros,
Uh-huh.
take a look at it, and
They go, I want it.
yeah, and basically go from kingdom to kingdom, making them bend the knee, and they set up camp there, and that's where we get King's Landing.
Okay.
And we've all seen it in so many projects like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Harrenhal, the
Mhm.
destroyed mansion, that's where it gets destroyed.
Okay.
Is they're one of the first ones to come in contact with Aegon, and they say, fuck no, like we're not bending the knee to you. And so he burns that bitch down.
Okay, so are dragons coming from outside of Westeros then?
Yes,
Okay.
no one had ever seen dragons.
That's what I wanted
at
to
least
know.
to my knowledge. I think dragons were like rumored and mythology at the time, but it's basically there was Valyria, Westeros, and then you have like Essos in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So, like all over there. And Essos is kind of like where the magic lays. Westeros is kind of like the middle ground, and then Targaryens come from Valyria with the dragons. And oh my god, it is just going to be a crazy story because it involves Aegon is a ruthless man.
Yeah.
Aegon the Conqueror, and him and his two sister wives are brutal the way they take over Westeros. And especially, I believe it's at Dorne. That is one of the only places that doesn't bend the knee and wins.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Where Pedro Pascal's
Yeah.
character comes from, I believe there's all these little moments where once you know this history, it's spread out through all the shows. Like, I think Pedro has a whole scene where he talks about how Rhaenys with her huge dragon came to Dorne and tried to take us over, but like the city was already empty when she got there, and they were hiding in the desert, and then like ambushed her and her army and sent her back, and like they never bent the knee.
That's
and
cool.
That's why they're still free to this day and not under the Seven Kingdoms. And there are just so many crazy moments, and the fact that it's going to be a movie that we get to experience
That's what I'm
in
excited
the theater,
for.
I feel like it's going to be crazy because so much of Game of Thrones, all of Game of Thrones stories have been told through TV.
Yeah.
And that means TV budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do great with their budget.
For sure.
Like the way the dragons look in all of their TV shows is beautiful. But now picturing what these dragons are going to look like on the big screen with like a movie budget, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited for, is like they obviously are going to have the training wheels off, or at least have the ability to get the training wheels off.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they cook, especially because this franchise seems to be so massive. And like, I feel like even just watching House of the Dragons, like it feels like I'm constantly learning about more about what's been happening on like in this universe. And I've seen people like connect things to Game of Thrones or like stories to Game of Thrones. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like this is, it's ever expansive. And like, I feel like we just haven't really had a big tent pole.
No.
Like we had with like the original Game of Thrones series. And I think that if like movies started coming out, we would have more like these
And
just like
Aegon's
places.
Conquest is the one to do it
Yeah.
with, like, because that is. I feel like even as a casual fan, you've heard someone in some show or in some room mention Aegon's
Yeah,
Conquest,
I've
and
heard it.
and it's like you might not know what it is, but there's aura behind it, and
Yeah.
there's weight behind it, and I think telling that in movie form is just gonna be insane. I really wonder if they're considering Henry Cavill to play Aegon because that
Oh,
has been the fan cast for I'd
get
say
his like Witcher
almost
on.
ever since you came out as Witcher. It's
Yeah.
like you look up Aegon the Conqueror, you're going to see a Witcher photo edit,
Yeah.
with like the Targaryen symbol on it.
That's
But the
cool.
Targaryen symbol with the 3 dragon
Dragons.
heads, that's Aegon and his 2 wives.
Oh, so it's on a three-headed I always wondered.
No, that's like because they would pull up. There's a great like the fan arts of it are incredible. They pull up to kingdoms and they're standing there in the corner and their dragons are just like,
Parallel.
heads
Yeah,
stacked on top of
that's
each other
cool.
like that. And when you realize that, you think of that in person and it's like imagine you have never seen a dragon before and then these almost a three-headed beast like shows up in
Yeah,
front of your door and oh my god. It's just
crazy.
going to be peak.
Yeah, speaking of stacked though, we need to go back to Disney and Marvel because we have D23 around the corner,
Yep.
and we're going to talk about Doomsday a little bit here. But the writing team has been kind of announced or at least revealed
Yep.
behind Doomsday, and we're getting pretty stacked lineup.
It is the the Doomsday lineup of writers is looking insane. Right now we have oh my god. Right now we have Stephen McFeely who did Avengers Infinity War and
Yes,
Endgame, which is obviously
great.
great. Like they've worked with the Russos before, so they all know how to work together. Michael Waldron, which I know people are a little iffy about, but
Loki,
Loki, which is incredible, and then
beautiful.
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So he has some understanding of how to take on these bigger concepts
Yes.
like a multiverse. And then this was very exciting that they announced Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, who did the MCU Spider-Man trilogy and then Spider-Man Brand New Day, respectively.
Ooh.
And I think it's just holy cow. This is like an Avengers level lineup of writers. Like I have full faith in all of them.
Yeah, they all have like their strengths for sure too. Like
Yeah,
we
like
have the more
Michael's
grounded
like
stuff.
the comic guy, I feel like he really likes to insert all of the comic references and stuff like that. And then you have the Brand New Day writers who are like
More
very
grounded.
grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, and then it's the McFeely who did Infinity War and Endgame, who are arguably the biggest crossover
Yeah.
movies of all time so far. So it's like, okay, we have our Avengers. We're suited. I'm not worried about this at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. I really like Michael Waldron, what he's been able to build and like the mythology that he's built with Loki. And granted, I know there was some issues with Multiverse of Madness, but I think a lot of that was because he wasn't paying attention to what was going on over at WandaVision.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's also like at a time when Marvel seemed to be a little bit more disjointed. And it seems like now everything's kind of at least falling in line. And we'll get some more. I don't know. I'm so excited to see what he does because he does some like really crazy galaxy brain stuff.
I know. I think my biggest fear with Michael Waldron only is I feel like sometimes he just likes to touch topics and then just find a way to move on from them really quickly. And I hope with these other writers, it's like, okay, Michael, this is a great idea. Let's expand on it. Like, let's
Yeah,
actually make it a
like
part
flesh
of
it
the
out.
story. Like, when you look at the Illuminati and stuff in Multiverse of Madness, or like, all of the variants that we get in Multiverse of Madness. It's like they could have been used for a little more and have a little more weight in them.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think it's like, especially McFeely is going to be great for this because I feel like they did such a good job making everyone feel so important in Infinity War and Endgame, even though you look at the run times for some of the actors' performances in Infinity War, and it still doesn't make sense.
No, but also like I think the other thing that's important too is the dialogue in that movie is so snappy and so just like sharp.
Yeah.
That like I recently went back and rewatched Endgame and like it was like, oh yeah, or Infinity War, and it was like, oh yeah, these moments work because of the dialogue. Like
Yes.
the fact that like I like one of the scenes that comes back to mind is like when the Guardians of the Galaxy first meet the Avengers and you have Tony
So
Stark
good.
and like Peter and Doctor Strange and like within like not even 2 minutes they give each other all the information they need to realize that like, oh yeah, we're both on the same side, but at the same time like there's so many lines like where like they talk about like the Avengers and who the Avengers are, but then also like the different types of powers and like how everybody works. And that is some crazy, like almost like Jigsaw level, like
it's insane
writing that is so just amazing. And like, I can only applaud it.
Especially because it's not only just like exposition of like getting from point A to point C. It's like you also have to write it in character, you know? And it's like they did such a good job where every sentence from every character
is important.
Feels like, I don't know, like the embodiment of that character, you know? And that is a hard thing to do without it making
like
without it feeling gimmicky or bad writing or anything like that, where it's like Chris Pratt could have just said like dance off like a million times or stuff like that.
But there's like one of my favorite moments, or not, I shouldn't say it's a favorite moment, but like one of the things that stands out to me from that scene that I was talking about is at one point, like Doctor Strange asks Peter, like essentially Peter Quill has Spider-Man like in a headlock with the gun pointed at his head. And then Strange asks Peter Quill, like, who do you like work for? Or who do you serve? And he was like, what am I supposed to say? Jesus? And that's such like a good, like on brand line for him. But also that line informs Iron Man that he's from Earth. He's like, oh, so you're from Earth. Got it. And he's like, wait, what? You're also from, no, he's like, I'm from Missouri.
He's from Missouri. And
he's like, yeah, that's from Earth, dipshit. Like, and like you get so much like context between all these characters so quickly, and it just works, and it's truly like a piece of genius.
I know. I mean, I could keep going with that whole scene, like where it's like, Tom's like, we're the Avengers, and then Mantis is like, oh my god, do you know Kevin Bacon? It's just so good. It makes me so happy. So I am very excited for this writing team, and I think, you know, you look at the trailers and stuff, and you're like, oh, this is a big spectacle, especially getting RDJ as Doom and stuff like that. But it's like, nah, I think there's gonna be some real meat here too. That's gonna be great.
They're cooking for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of Doomsday, I had a very weird thought because I was looking at the hot toys for Doctor Doom again, and it showed just a side angle, and it really had me wondering, do you think Doom is going to be wearing a face plate mask or a full helmet?
Like Iron Man?
Yeah, because the side shot, it kind of made it look like it was wrapping around his whole head, and then it immediately made it look like the Mark I suit.
Yeah.
You know?
I would assume that it's more like a helmet where he can remove the faceplate like Iron Man does.
Yeah.
Because like otherwise, I don't know how that faceplate would.
So then that's going to be even harder, like not having him look and feel like Iron Man. You know, if he's wearing a full helmet and then the faceplate comes off and he has like the same Iron Man outline.
I think that's going to be intentional though.
Of course, but it's going to be very weird. I think especially for the audience, he'll look a lot like Superior Iron Man.
Yeah. I think that's a real possibility. I also think that like when you look at, there's like in the comics when Doom takes over for Tony Stark as Iron Man, he becomes the infamous Iron Man. And like that suit is the perfect like combination between Iron Man and
Thank God
Doom.
We're not getting that.
That's what I was afraid of.
Me too.
And like as cool as that looks like it in the comics, like for the first time we're ever getting Doom, I don't want that.
MCU would be dead on arrival if that was the suit.
Yes. And like I think that they're probably going to lean into it more in Secret Wars when they can like play with it. Yeah. Because I think, I don't know, like I can't imagine that they're going to go full Iron Man with him here. But I don't know.
Okay, so I want to finish that off, but I do have a question. But so I really do wonder, because I personally like Doctor Doom when it's just a face mask. Like I don't really like when it's a full helmet and stuff.
Well, he's completely like encased in metal.
Well, yeah, I know, but they do plenty of shots when he takes off the mask and he has this beautiful flowing hair and stuff like that. And that's how I kind of want to see Doom in this movie if he does take off the mask.
You want to see him pretty?
I mean, not pretty, but I don't want to be reminded of Iron Man like at all.
Do you think he'll have the scarring on his face?
I don't know, because to me personally, in the comics, I like it more when there's not a huge scar.
When it's just like a small detail.
Yeah, it's like just this little blemish, but Victor can't handle that.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like because it's RDJ and stuff, it's like they're gonna and also the Secret Wars comic like makes it like some big Quasimodo like messed up face.
I could see like we get both in between the two movies, where like maybe we do only get like a small sliver.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be in I was gonna say Endgame or Infinity War, but in Doomsday or Secret Wars. But
Yeah.
like I could see them playing with it where for like story and narrative purposes, like yeah, like it's more disfigurement,
Mhm.
so that way they can't tell that it's Tony Stark or it looks like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But then when they like create Battle World in Secret Wars, I could see him almost like fix his face, if that makes sense.
I totally see that. I mean, again, that is a part of the Secret Wars
Yeah.
ending where it's not him, he can't fix it, but Franklin
But I think that
does.
that would make a great ending too if like Franklin does it at the
Yo,
end of Secret Wars. So we
what are you doing if like the last shot is like Doom flying off in a like Iron Man suit and it's like now the perfect timeline is created? I don't know. That was a dumb question. I did have a question though. Oh fuck, what was I gonna ask? Oh yeah. Okay, so for Doomsday,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious that we'll see Doom under the mask in Doomsday. But
Yes.
do you think the Avengers and stuff see Doctor Doom under the mask in Doomsday? Or
I
is that something they save till Secret Wars? Because that's the big moment, is like when Captain America
I
or
think
someone
I
sees
think
him.
it'll I don't know, because like I just can't imagine they're gonna spend that much money on RDJ to not show his face.
Yeah.
But like if I were making this movie, I would absolutely hold off on showing his face until Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Because like for me, the big one is Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's not in Doomsday that we know of at least right now.
Yeah.
And like if he is in Secret Wars, which all like everything points in that direction, uh that reveal is gonna be the craziest one for me because like he's gonna feel the most conflicted.
Oh yeah.
But
Over Steve, you think?
oh yeah, I think because I mean Steve has fought Iron Man to one degree or another,
Yeah.
whereas like I think Spider Man just looks up to him way more, and I don't know, like if I was writing this, I would probably do that, but I just think that there's no way we might get ones where yeah, like you're saying, like maybe the Fantastic Four see his face, and that's the only moments that we get,
Yeah.
and like the Avengers never get to see it, but
Like
I
the
don't know,
Fantastic Four should know what he looks like,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
if we're going by random, like
yeah,
normal comic book history, they knew him before the
for sure,
mask.
and
So,
it seems like they have some type of
yo,
relationship
what if the
already.
Fantastic Four come to Earth 616 and see like a memorial for Tony and go like,
They're like, wait a minute,
"Whoa, your
like
Doom's dead?"
yeah, like that's
And
crazy.
that's the reveal.
Yeah. But the
Like,
other thing too is like I don't think like it'll be that big of an impact on the current Avengers team. Like really realistically, if we look at the lineup for the new Avengers and the Avengers, like a lot of those characters didn't really interact with Tony as much.
I mean, if everyone knows about the multiverse at this point, which I feel like for the most part every character
Yeah.
does it even fucking matter if they do see it? Like, who cares?
I think it
At the end,
will
like
because
Peter,
he's
yes,
dead.
it's a moment where Peter goes like, "Oh my god," but then he goes like, "Oh yeah, it's the multiverse. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't this isn't
Like the
Iron Man."
only person that I could think of in Doomsday being somewhat moved by it would be Thor.
Yeah,
But other than that, like I just don't think you reveal something like
I
that
mean,
right
is War
away.
Machine even in this movie?
I
Like,
don't think so.
like, oh my god,
Poor
it's messed up.
Rhodey.
How do you have RDJ come back and not have his like, fucking sidekick, something like main character, best friend? I did hear Pepper's coming back supposedly, so I shouldn't say like as a confirmed. I saw a
Yeah.
rumor
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Pepper
yeah.
was coming back, so you know. And I think it all just more leads to I think people will see Doom without the mask on.
I think so too. I think it has to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get like an explanation in this movie as much as we'll get it in Secret Wars, but
I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, do we need an explanation?
yeah.
Like,
I
do we?
I also think that like no matter what the explanation is, like
It's gonna be bullshit.
it's not going to satisfy everyone.
No,
There's no way you can do that.
no. He's either a variant of Tony or he's not. Like,
No, what? No, variant or Tony is the variant of Doom.
right? Like it can only like it's a variant in
Yeah,
some way. Like, so there's really like. I don't know how they could spin it in any other
yeah,
way. Like, I know you had that theory a week or two ago where it was like Doom's dream walking
yeah,
like a dead Tony body. And it's like, okay, that would give you like a minute of shock value. And
yeah.
then it's like,
It's definitely a
eh,
reach, and like when the most obvious answer is probably like, I mean, they
someone's a variant of someone.
that, but
Like,
also like there's the whole like Tony was adopted storyline in Endgame, or yeah, in Endgame,
yeah,
and like the whole like interaction with like when they go back into the time heist and they
yeah,
talk to his dad, and there's like a hiccup there, and I like it's clearly they're gonna build something off of that,
yeah. I
but
mean,
I
that's
don't.
where I do.
That's where I would.
That's where Marvel soars in my eyes. Like, I think they are so good at being able to take any moment from their past movie
Oh yeah,
and like turn it into a whole big thing. That is
for
one of my
sure.
favorite moments about the MCU.
Hmm.
All right, what do we got next on the docket?
Do you want to talk about the Hood, or do you want to just go straight to X-Men? Because I feel like
Nah, I want to talk about the Hood.
okay,
I want to talk about the Hood because yo, Marvel Rivals is straight up ripping off Chainsaw Man right now.
I saw your video. So I don't know anything about Chainsaw Man, but
Yeah.
as soon as I saw your video about like his ultimate, and like I quickly did a quick Google search, and I was like, oh yeah,
It's identical, and it's like,
Yeah.
where does this even fucking come from? Like, why not have him like summon Mephisto or something, like, or
Yeah.
Dormammu, whoever
Sure.
the Hood possesses? Who cares? Like, I just don't get how they can blatantly rip off Chainsaw Man like this, and Chainsaw Man hasn't even gotten the opportunity to animate this in any way. So it's like you're just beating them to the punch, and I'm glad everyone's calling it out for it.
I'm just loving that he is like fully Puerto Rican down.
Dude.
It's the dance emo is so good.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
insane.
And he looks so like he's such a pretty boy too. Like everything from his curls to like the amount of just like thirst that I've seen after this man, like that is a video game character on my TikTok feed is crazy, and I love it because he is such a like fringe character in the Marvel universe, and like I mean he's only probably like 10 years old in the comics.
Yeah.
Not like him actually being 10 years old, but like he's only been around for 10 years, and like it's been fun to kind of see people really embrace this character in a new way. I mean, when he first debuted, he was pretty like kind of boring. He was supposed to be like an edgy Spider-Man type character.
Yeah.
And like to see him kind of evolve past that and really get fleshed out into something like the version that we see in Rivals is really, really cool to see.
Yeah, it's great. The Hood is a weird character to be getting all this love, but I am happy for it because I think he was great in Ironheart, and he's very enjoyable in Marvel Rivals. He's a bum in Marvel Rivals. Like every interaction I've ever heard, like every voice line is him just kind of being like, "Hey, when can we team up?" And everyone's like, "Can you get away from me?" But I just could not believe. I had to go back and check out his comics again because I was like, where the fuck is this Gun Devil reference coming from? And it comes from nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I don't think
ever turned into a giant walking gun.
I mean, but like that's what Rivals does, and they've like I mean, a good example is Jeff the Landshark, like doesn't do anything that he does in that video game in the comics. And like he has no abilities really. And I mean, but the cool thing is like similar to what we were saying about the movies is like Marvel has a pretty like strong history of just going back and like embracing things that work. Like even like the Psylocke that's in Rivals has made her own appearance in the comics now, and it's like a much more interesting character than the original Psylocke that we got that has its own controversy that we don't need to get into here. But like that's the stuff that I like is like we can play with different versions of these characters and then marry the parts that we like that the audiences like embrace and enjoy, and then
I like it sometimes. Like, I agree with everything you're saying, but dude, okay, so there's something that's screaming in my head, and it's the fact that Marvel Rivals tried to confirm that Scott's lasers are from the punch dimension.
Dude, that's all I want.
Like,
give it to me.
I feel the opposite. Like, I
think it's so funny.
I think the punch dimension.
You don't like the punch dimension?
I find it so dumb and just needlessly overcomplicated.
But it's the most comic book thing in the world.
Of course, but it's from one handbook,
and I love
like
it.
The 90s.
Don't take it away from me.
Oh my god! And the fact that Marvel Rivals is making it canon makes me think it's just a matter of time before the comics make it canon.
The comics like have gone out of their way to make sure it's not canon and to confirm it's not. Same thing with like I remember even just like cartoons, like they would constantly be like, no, we're not touching it. It's this. But
it's
like
it's
so silly. But I love the silly.
My
wacky
eyes
comic
are
stuff.
actually portals to the punch dimension.
Yes, and it's just pure kinetic energy.
It's so dumb. Oh my god, I couldn't believe Marvel Rivals did that. But it's very fun that the Hood is in Marvel Rivals right now. I think he's one of the first characters that doesn't feel insanely broken when he comes in. Like he feels like the most, and I don't mean this in a negative way, like the most adequate character added to the roster so far.
Yeah.
Which is great because
he's a
usually,
tank, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because usually these new characters are game breaking.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a nightmare the first couple of days. And he's not, at least right now, he's not one of them. He's definitely like my go-to ban at the start of every round, but like he's not broken.
I need to play him. I haven't played him yet. I've been playing as
his fucking dance emote.
It's so good. Like I love it. I've seen it just like matched up with so many different songs. I'm like, Yes, like,
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
Wait, who
Uh,
are you maining right now though?
I'm currently maining most I mean, I've stayed with Invisible Woman for a
Yeah,
while,
me too.
but, like, I mean, she's, like, my favorite, but I started playing with Ultron for a little bit, and
Yeah.
then I enjoyed it, but I think I always return to the Invisible Woman, so I keep going back to
I've
her.
been loving Ultron right now. I just lorded Cap. I want to lord Ultron soon, and I'm having fun with Cyclops too.
Cyclops is fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cyclops, we need to talk about the cast announcement that came out this week. So
Yes.
it seems like we're getting uh, a full reveal of the cast soon. They're slowly kind of leaking and dripping out, but we got confirmation, or at least we got a story that Kit Connor
Yeah.
has been pretty much cast as the role of Cyclops. Um, Neither party, Kit or Marvel, has confirmed it, but it seems like it's all there. And like, I just gotta say, like, I'm super hyped for this casting.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is a great choice. I mean, and you look at who we have now. I mean, it's Jean Grey, Emma Frost, and Cyclops.
Yeah,
Like, if this is any indication that they're prioritizing this little love trio and like
I don't
drama,
know.
I'm
Do you think
down.
that they'll do the trio?
Maybe not right away. I think they'll
Yeah,
plant seeds in the first movie
I think
and,
that's what they're gonna do.
bring it. Because I feel like, especially where we saw Jean at the end of Brand New Day, there's going to be a lot of establishing needed in their movie,
Mhm.
unless it's all introduced in Secret Wars, which I guess it
Could be.
could be. But like, they're going to have to really reestablish who these characters
Mhm.
are and who these new versions are. And so I can't see a love trio being right in the beginning.
I agree. I also think that, like, to me, their ages, or at least both Jean and, Cyclops' ages, or at least the actors' ages, revealed to me that, like, I don't think we're gonna get a Wolverine in this one at all, because if you look back, here's the thing I wanna run by you. If you look back at when Hugh Jackman got cast as Wolverine, he's
Hmm.
31,
Hmm.
or I think maybe a little bit older than that, uh, for the first X-Men movie. But if you really look at the line of his run on as Wolverine for the Fox universe, like, he doesn't really age that much,
Yeah.
because he's kind of hit his like peak, and like there's very little aging between all the movies, or at least noticeably like age. I mean, he probably got de-aged to some degree here
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
but what I'm getting at is, like, if you introduced a younger Wolverine, it would look really weird in 10 years if we see that he's lost, I don't know, like a baby face or something.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm curious if they're gonna hold off on giving us a new Logan here, and to just give these characters, because like, if you look at Sadie Sink and Kit Connors, like, they have a baby face.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they're gonna do that love triangle, like, that's gonna be a little bit
Oh,
of an
yeah.
issue. So
Yeah.
I think that, like, giving them some time to age into these roles and then introduce Wolverine, like, I'm not saying, like, wait 2 or 3 movies, but at least, like, keep them separate so that you don't see that, like, age gap right away, or you don't see this weird, I don't know, like, it's almost like a
I see
scaling
what you're
issue,
saying.
like,
I see what you're saying
yeah,
because, like, give it 4 or 5 more years.
yeah,
Like Sadie and Kid are gonna look a little older, and
yeah,
it's gonna make more sense to get like a late 30s person to
right,
be Wolverine. Um, I do wonder if there's someone like Taron Eddington or
yeah,
whatever his name is. Like, I know a lot of people want him as Wolverine, and he's got a baby-yer face, like,
yes,
where he could play probably young 30s, if he's not already young. I think
yeah.
he's like mid to probably later
There's also,
30s right
like
now,
there's
but
also a world where we just, like, get Wolverine on his own for a little bit.
that would be ideal.
I
Like,
agree, and, like,
I think that would be his best situation. Maybe show up as a post-credit scene,
sure,
like as maybe a little feral
yeah.
when he comes to the
I
mansion or
just
something like that.
can't imagine that Marvel's looking at, like, "Oh, we're gonna cast a Wolverine and not do his own solo movies,"
Right.
right
Right.
away, or at least, like, expanding that universe that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think Disney probably knows Wolverine can go for a lot of different people and a lot of different things, and limiting him to the X-Men really just diminishes the other characters
I was
in
gonna
the
say that,
X-Men
yeah, by
movie.
not including Wolverine in the first movie, you get so much extra wiggle room to really flesh out those characters
I think it's
more.
tough where it's like I think X-Men 97 does a good job
Mhm,
handling Wolverine where he's used as the heavyweight when it's
mhm,
time, but he's not really an essential character to the overall story of the season. Every now and then he has his moments and stuff like that, but they are pretty separated from the group. It's usually him and Morph or something like that.
yeah,
And so I think if he has to be in the first movie, which I don't really think makes sense because
yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
they want to do the OG5 or whatever it is before anyone else comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like Wolverine sells tickets,
Yeah, but
like,
Wolverine can also sell tickets on his own.
but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's like, I don't know, even though we are in a Cyclops resurgency and
Yes.
Sadie Sink just had a big moment as Jean Grey and Spider-Man, I don't know. Like, I feel like the heaviest hitter without Wolverine in an X-Men movie is like Magneto
I was gonna say Storm. I
or
feel like
Storm.
you
Yeah.
have to have a Storm in that case.
That's true. That's true. Like Storm and Magneto, I think are your two big pulls.
Yeah.
And I don't even know at that point for the casual audience if they're big enough to like carry
Potentially,
a
yeah.
movie. And like First Class, that's a great movie, but a lot of people don't really have it that high up, with the casuals because
Right.
there's not that much Wolverine
Right.
and it's kind of a smaller story.
Can I throw you a theory that I've seen?
Yeah.
A lot of people are thinking that we're never going to lose Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So post Secret Wars, we'll have an old man Logan, and maybe I've seen people say like we could have a younger Logan or have Laura on the team, X-23 on the team of like the core cast of X-Men, which like I kind of like. Like I like I really love that run where we do get Laura and Old Man Logan, but so much had to happen for that to happen here.
And that's like, that's where Scott and Jean are more in the mentor role and stuff like that.
Yes.
And it's like, that's not the route they're going right now. So if they just try to change it and make Laura the same age and grow up with
this is where it gets weird in the comics, because in the comics, we have a love story between Angel and Laura Kinney.
I hate that.
And like, that is such a, like, if you're trying to do the math of the ages, like that doesn't work.
How about we just bury that?
Yeah.
How about
no, I hate them together. But like, that's a thing where it's like, oh, like that exists in the comics. If they wanted to adapt, a younger Laura who joins the X-Men in the original 5 or whatever, like they could explore that type of stuff.
That's fair. That is fair. The lineup has been so confusing to me because for the most part, it sounds like it's the OG. Yeah. But then you hear names like Rogue and Storm,
Gambit,
and Mystique, all these names coming up that are supposed to be here. And I just don't know which direction they're going. And I feel like it's just an easy layup to have Wolverine in some degree in this movie. And I swear to fuck.
Have you seen the rumors around Beast getting cast?
Yeah. I've been hearing some names
Melton. I can't remember his first name.
Well, yeah, what is his name?
Charles Melton. Charles Melton, who was in most recently, he was in he was in Beef. Yeah. The most recent season of Beef, but also in May, December. And like I've seen that one swirling around a lot, and like based on the ones that we've gotten revealed so far, it like they have Emma, and Emma to me is one that like I'm surprised that they cast right away. Yeah. But like, what if they're doing a new X-Men?
They could be. I really don't know because I'm hearing people want a new Gambit. There's going to be a Nightcrawler. Yes. Like it doesn't sound like OGs and like starting from the beginning and stuff, which I think it's hard. Thankful for.
I think it's really hard because like the X-Men have been around for so long that people, like every generation has its new class, like whether it's the New Mutants, Gen X, or like the more recent runs of X-Men where you're getting like all these offshoots of teams. But like because of that, it causes an issue where it's like, okay, if we're going to do this from the beginning in the movies, where do we start? And like, you can go either direction, or you can play with ages. You can like change things up. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting choice.
In my opinion, New Mutants is their best bet. Like, yes. I think it's just the safest route where it's
I don't know though, because the movie did come out a while ago, and like people are aware of that movie to some degree.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like,
I don't know. I'm very confused. I think it's just because Doomsday and Secret Wars we don't know anything about either. It's like we see all these old X-Men in the Doomsday trailer, but now we're hearing rumors that they're ramping up the X-Men casting and stuff like that. And it's like, I need to know how we get there. Like, I feel like I think I know because we both have read Secret Wars and stuff like that, but it's a very confusing time to try to put these pieces together. Like, how is Black Panther 3 gonna work? Like, how is Ghost Rider gonna work? How is the X-Men fitting?
Where is it fitting in the timeline? Like, there's so many things that are just up in the air still that we don't know. Yeah, where it can like just one decision in Doomsday could like change the trajectory of the entire like future of the MCU. Yes, and like I don't know, like the thing that I keep going back to is like it's the Mutant Saga next, and there's no way that they're not going to try to bring in as many characters as they possibly can to fill in the gap of the Avengers.
Yeah, and I think, thinking about D23 that's coming
Yeah,
next week. They just showed off a new poster for it.
I saw it.
Yeah, and it had Sue Storm on it, but it also had Storm, our
Yeah,
girl Storm from the X-Men on it. And she did look like the X-Men 97 version. I'm
yeah.
not going to say she doesn't, like, but it to me it's just more evidence that the X-Men are coming, and I think they could even be announced at D23 this year.
I don't know. I still think that they're only gonna do TV, and we can get into our predictions in a little bit, but, like, I'm still like, holding on to the thing that they have been focusing, movies at San Diego Comic-Con,
Mhm.
and then the TV shows at D23.
Mhm.
That said, something as big as, like, an X-Men reveal
Mhm.
makes sense because it's gonna generate a lot of buzz, but I still don't think that they're gonna reveal them ahead of Doomsday because I think right now they're focusing the hype all on Doomsday. They don't want anything to detract from that.
Yeah.
They don't want people to like think too far ahead. I mean, there's a reason why we didn't get like a slate of movies past Secret Wars
Right.
outside of Wakanda or Black Panther 3 and Ghost Rider. And it's because they don't want people to think too much about what's coming next and they want to focus on Doomsday.
It would be interesting for them to do an X-Men cast after just revealing all these other projects at
Yep.
Comic-Con, but it's very weird that all these rumors and confirmations for the X-Men cast are all happening right now, like
Yeah.
weeks before D23, and it is kind of like you've showed off a new trailer unless they release a new trailer at D23 for Doomsday. It's like, what are you really showing?
Well, I mean, you have that's the other thing too that I'm worried about is like if they're focusing on TV at D23, then like you really only have what Daredevil season 3
And
potentially
Vision
and
Quest.
Vision Quest, and then like on the animated side, you might have like another season of X-Men 97 and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But outside of that, they haven't really announced anything. They canceled Wonder Man,
Yeah.
so it's not like they can talk about the new season. And I don't know, like I'm starting to worry that they're going to abandon the television side of things and maybe focus on animation more. But
I
I
wouldn't hate it if they step back from television. I
mhm,
don't want them to end
that's my
television
fear.
because so many of their, I think so much of the hype of the MCU post Endgame
Mhm,
does come from the TV
I
shows.
agree.
I think, people,
WandaVision,
yeah.
Loki,
And
like
I think a lot of people give the TV show some flack, but I think it's like there's a couple of years there after Endgame where the only thing keeping it alive was these TV shows.
yeah,
And so I don't think they should get rid of TV shows. I do think they need to be more picky about what they're making, especially for live action.
mhm,
Like Wonder Man was incredible.
yeah,
Miss Marvel was incredible, but these are shows that like maybe deters the general audience away from the MCU
yeah.
because it's not as big of a name as Loki or Wanda or Captain America, And so I think they just or Moon Knight even,
Yeah,
I think they just need to be a little bit pickier about who's getting a project and what it's going to do for the narrative of the MCU.
I agree with that because like my biggest like if you were to learn a lesson from the past like multiverse saga
Mhm.
of TV, it's that too much leaves people wanting or thinking that they need to watch everything and it's just there's too much going on.
Right.
But like the sweet spot that they've kind of figured out is the shows that don't necessarily touch too much of the canon.
Mhm.
So whether it's an alternate reality or like What If, which is an alternate reality, or a like historical piece, like not saying that Moon Knight was a historical piece, but like something that's like so far removed
Yeah.
from what's going on
Yeah.
in the shows. Like I think a She-Hulk suffers a little bit because she's so tied down by like Bruce or like having, other superheroes be a
Yeah.
part of that, like Daredevil.
Yeah.
Or like the reason why Daredevil works is because it's a small pocket, of these street level heroes. And I'm wondering if like the next, I guess, wave of TV shows that we get aren't necessarily world building. They're more like, or they can be world building, but like maybe not set at the same time. So like, I think a lot about how people want a Wolverine TV show that kind of goes through the decades.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that wouldn't affect a whole lot of
No,
canon.
that would be cool.
But it would give them a lot of breathing room to like tell a much more emotional and deeper like Wolverine story
Mhm.
than like a movie would.
Especially post Secret Wars, where it's a
Yeah.
more connected timeline and
Yep.
stuff like that. I think that could really work. I really like when they do presentations, like Werewolf by Midnight was incredible. The Punisher one was pretty good,
Yeah.
And I think those are fun. Those are like a great way to reintroduce characters and keep people interested. And like you look at Wonder Man, I think that did a great job of reintroducing the Department of Damage Control as villains for Spider-Man Brand New Day,
Yeah.
and the Mutant Saga in general. But as far as D23 goes, it's I am on the boat like you where it's like I don't think they should announce an X-Men cast right now, but it's just with all of these I'm seeing pages every day saying like Disney is working overtime right
And I
now
believe it, 'cause, like
trying to find a cast before D23.
yeah, and, like, we know that I don't know, 'cause, like, I don't know if it's before D23 or if they just because Secret Wars is gonna start shooting soon,
Yeah,
like, some of these characters might show up in that, and,
that's
like,
true.
casting them now is very, like that makes sense if you're gonna start shooting soon. But also, like, I don't know, like, I think a lot of these have probably been in the works for a while, and, like, they're just starting to, like, hit because we're in this, like, almost, like, down period
Mhm.
where there's nothing really coming out right now, and these studios are working on the next thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be an interesting D23. I'm hoping for big news, but at this point, it's like they've given us so much
Yeah,
this year. I
I'm
really
keeping my
don't know.
expectations low, and, like, I will happily be pleasantly surprised if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
I think it would be crazy if they introduce the X-Men cast. I think that'll immediately have us like we'll have to have conversations on what role are they playing in Secret Wars.
Yeah,
But until then, it's like I'm holding my breath.
same.
And I don't know. Is there anything else that you're looking forward to from D23?
I don't know, like, I think I'm always excited for more Star Wars. I'm curious
Yeah,
to see what'll come out of the Star Wars,
yeah,
pocket of the Disney universe, but I really I feel like I'm kinda going into D23 blind this year just because, like, I don't know what's really getting planned or, like, what's like, especially even in Star Wars, like, I don't really know outside of Ahsoka Season 2, like, what they
yeah.
have cooking,
I know
and
they finally started updating descriptions of Ahsoka season 2 on like
mhm,
Disney Plus, so fingers crossed we get a trailer for this season.
yeah.
But because I want to see, I can't remember his name, but the guy that played the Hound, is that his character from
Oh, I
Game
know who
of
you're talking about, like,
Thrones?
the guy that
He,
passed away.
yeah, yeah, like he's taking over for that guy
Yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah.
and so I'm very excited to see how he looks and how he portrays that character.
Yeah,
I hope a trailer would show Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like
that'd be
I'm a
cool.
sucker for that kind of stuff. I would love to see some Starfighter stuff. Like I've heard some rumors about that movie,
Uh-huh.
and if it's true, I think this movie could be insane.
Yeah.
But though I feel like everything I hear about Star Wars recently, it's changing so quickly.
Mhm.
Like sometimes it's like it sounds like they have the next couple years all fleshed out in a very like sequence where it all starts relating to each other and then it all just kind of sounds random,
Mm,
So
it's a bummer.
like Starfighter sounds really fun, and then the rumors that I'm hearing about it are like it's so much bigger than we
Oh,
think it is.
yeah. To
And
me, it's very small potatoes.
yeah, like that's the vibes it gives off, obviously. But there were just some rumors that we won't talk about now on the podcast, maybe as it gets closer. But if it's true, it's like it's basically setting up like the next couple years of Star Wars, which is
That's
very
cool. That's
interesting.
exciting.
Yeah.
I need something like that because I feel like that franchise needs to really get, like, revived a little bit more. Not revived because that makes it sound like it's dead, but, like
Well, I don't really like this era of like one-offs.
yeah,
It's like the Mandalorian Grogu movie was fun for what it was, but it's
it
like,
didn't do
dude,
anything to build the lore or
no,
anything.
Star Wars is known for their trilogies.
Yeah,
I don't care that that last trilogy had a rough ending or whatever.
I
It's
don't
like
care.
you stick to the
You keep
trilogies.
going, yeah.
Like
Can I run something by you?
sure.
I saw this, literally before we started recording. I was watching a TikTok where someone was talking about rumor casting for Magneto
Oh yeah,
and Xavier,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they had heard potentially Hayden and Ewan.
What the fuck?
And I'm curious what you think of that.
Well, this kind of goes because I heard a rumor that there was some gay erasure going, and they're going
Ooh,
to like make them brothers.
okay. I don't
And
like that.
I don't like that either. And so I don't like either of these rumors.
Who would
That
you cast if you had those two
that's
as
easy. Anakin would obviously be
Magneto?
Magneto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
But can you imagine Ewan bald, like with no beard in a wheelchair?
I mean, Xavier has had a beard in the comics before. They could keep the beard.
Okay, I think that would be even weirder. Seeing a bald Obi-Wan in a wheelchair Oh man, but
That'd be
actually, I
amazing.
don't think Hayden would be a bad choice for Magneto. Maybe if he was a little older. Obviously, the biggest problem is that he's not Jewish.
Yeah,
Like obviously, I think you should have a Jewish actor, but
especially because we've had 2 that weren't.
yeah, that isn't that kind of funny, but
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, you'd think would hire a Jewish actor for that, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. I don't even know if I would want this Magneto to be related to the Holocaust at this point. Like, I know it's such a big part of his story, but we're so far away
Look,
from that in history. Like,
I've thought about this so hard. Like, I've been thinking a lot about this, and the
yeah,
only way they could do it is if they do, like, weird timescale shenanigans
yeah,
with Secret Wars. So they have literally one chance to do it and make it
right,
work.
right.
And if they do it, like, we could see it in Secret Wars. But if they don't, it's gonna be really, really hard to explain why.
Like, because the MCU is like a couple years ahead of real
Yeah, I think
life,
they're,
right?
like, 3 years
Yeah,
ahead of us?
yeah. So it's like,
No, 4. No, 2, because it's 2028 in Spider-Man: Brand New
okay,
Day.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I had 2028 in my head, and I was like, where am I getting this number from?
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's like that would. I mean, this guy is dust
yeah,
at this point if he shows up in the MCU and he's supposed to be a Holocaust survivor, unless they do like a Captain America thing where he's frozen in time or some
true.
shit like that, or Secret Wars where it's
Yeah.
a combined timeline of everything, and it's
I
just
think
like.
that's more likely where it's like we get a younger Magneto
But do
who
you really see Marvel doing something like that where
I
it's
don't
like
know.
every movie they have to explain for like at least the first 3 or 4 movies after Secret Wars? Like, oh yeah, no, I'm not like I'm new.
Well,
Like,
I think that you can still like have them go through that experience. Like because essentially Battle World, right, is taken from
huh?
different universes, different planets. And like they could take like a 1940s piece of Earth.
Well, yeah, but that's just for Secret Wars. I'm
Yeah.
talking post Secret Wars
But
when
like,
like
yeah.
Franklin remakes the timeline and
Yeah.
everyone's like
Do you
under
think
one
everybody's gonna
roof.
well, I mean that opens up another like just
Right.
can of worms where it's like, do you think everyone's gonna remember
Yeah.
a pre-Secret Wars timeline?
I mean, you can't do Holocaust
Yeah.
erasure.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
you can't have a Magneto that was part of the Holocaust and then after Secret Wars go, what's a Holocaust? Like
Yeah.
that would just be insane.
I wanna you just remind me of something else too that I don't mean to change the subject too much, but going back to 2028 and the timeline in Spider-Man, I watched someone do the math and explain. I wish I could give if I could remember this guy's name, I would. Maybe we'll drop it in the show notes. But he had this incredible video where he did the math and essentially figured out that Frank Castle's son would be the exact same age that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is. So that scene in the hospital where he says,
Oh.
like, you're just like I imagined,
Yeah.
is essentially like him talking to his son and like could explain why they essentially get along so well.
That is actually adorable.
And it is crazy because that is some like if that was like intentional,
Yeah.
that is some phenomenal writing and choices.
I mean, honestly, you could see it where when they first made the Punisher TV show on Netflix, he goes like, "Oh, well, I just met this kid Tom. He's like this age. Like, let's
Yep.
just say the kid's that age."
Well, the other thing too is like basing it off of like the first appearance, like the technically first appearance of Peter Parker in the MCU is, according to RDJ, that little kid who has the Iron Man helmet in Iron Man,
Right.
and like that is like around the same time that like Frank's kid would have died, and so like it lines up perfectly. It's scary.
That's so that you gotta love it about the MCU.
I love that.
I love that. Well, I think that's gonna be our show for
Yeah.
today. We've covered a lot, and like I said, it's been a light week. You know, you and I have kind of put our feet up. We partied last week.
We did. It was your
We-
birthday.
Yeah, we were on a yacht. Suck it. And then I went to Nobu. Suck it again.
Didn't invite anybody to Nobu.
No. That's a no.
Just the yacht.
That's a no. No boo. No me. No,
Okay.
no boo, yes me thing.
Okay.
You know?
We're done.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe. Tune in next week, and we'll catch you then. Bye.
Yeah, bye.